Hello viewers, this time we are going to discuss about equation of a straight line, and this is a topic or a unit in Form 2 where we learn about the slope of lines and how we determine the equation of lines. So I want us to go through this question based on the equation of straight lines. This question was done in the year 2018 in the national examination. So as we go through this question, I believe that those students who are currently in Form 2, those who are in Form 3, and also those who will be now enrolling to Form 4 coming next year will not have challenges based on this particular topic on gradient and equation of a straight line. So we have a question here. Two vertices of a triangle ABC are A, 3, 6, and B, 7, 12. Then our first question is find the equation of the line AB. And that question will earn you 3 marks. So for us to determine the equation of the line AB, we are going to start with A. We have been given the coordinates of A, that is 3, 6, and the coordinate of B is 7, 12. The coordinates of A is 3, 6, and the coordinates of B is 7, 12. So for us to determine the equation of A, B, we are first supposed to determine the gradient, and the gradient of our line AB is given as change in y, that is y2 minus y1, over change in x, that is x2 minus x1. And now we can call this our x1, we can call this our y1, we can call this our our x2, and we can call this our y2. So for us to determine the gradient of the equation, or for us to determine the gradient of the line AB, we will have y2, that is 12, minus y1, that is 6, over x2 is 7, minus x1 is 3. Therefore, we'll get our gradient of line AB as 12 minus 6 will give us 6, over 7 minus 3 will give us 4. Upon simplifying 6 over 4, we get 3 over 2. So, having 3 over 2 as the gradient of our line AB, we can split that. We can now determine the equation of the line AB. And how do we determine the equation of the line AB? We choose between A and B one of the coordinates we are supposed to use. And for our instance, let's choose 3, 6. And our gradient is given as 3 over 2. And the arbitrary points of a straight line are given as x and y. So for us to determine the equation of the line, we will have change in y, that is y minus 6, over change in x, that is x minus 3, will be equivalent to the gradient, which is 3 over 2. Having that, we can now cross multiply. When we have an equal sign, we are supposed to cross multiply. So when we cross multiply, we are going to get 2 into brackets y minus 6, close the bracket, is equal to 3 into brackets x minus 3. And by cross multiplying, we are going to get 2y minus 12 is equal to 3x minus 9. So, the general equation of a straight line is given as y is equal to mx plus c. That is how we should leave our equation, in that form. Therefore, our equation is going to be 2y is equal to 3x minus 9. You can take this to the other side to be plus 12. By having that, we can continue it here. can have 2y is equal to 3x plus 3. We can leave our equation like that, or we can simplify to make it y is equal to 3 over 2x plus 3 over 2. That is by dividing all the variables with 2. And by doing that, we have already obtained the equation of the line AB. So you get your 3 marks. That is how we approach that question. In our second question, that is B. Let's continue with B. B says, find the equation of the perpendicular bisector of line AB. A perpendicular bisector of line AB. So when we are learning or discussing about perpendicular lines, we simply say that perpendicular lines are straight lines that intersect at right angle. Are straight lines that intersect at right angle. That is just a simple definition we can use to define perpendicular lines. So we are being told to find the equation of a perpendicular bisector. The meaning of a bisector is a line that cuts another line into 2 equal parts. So that means we are supposed to find if this is our line AB, if that is our line AB, having A as 3, 6 and B as 7, 12, then our perpendicular bisector is cutting this line at the center in the ratio of 1:1. And for us to find this particular point at the center, which we can call T, we are supposed to find the midpoint. So for us to get the coordinate at the center, we should get the midpoint of AB. And how do we get the midpoint T? As we have just derived it. Our midpoint T will be given as x1 plus x2 over 2, y1 plus y2 over 2. That will give us T is equal to 3 plus 7 will give us a 10. A 10 divided by 2 will give us a 5. 6, remember 6 is our x2. So 6 plus our is our y2 plus 12 is our y2. It can also be derived as our y1. Is 6 plus 12 is 18. 18 divided by 2 will give us a 9. So our T will be equal to 5, 9. So this is the point of intersection between AB and the perpendicular bisector. And by having that, we can now be able to determine the equation of the perpendicular bisector. Remember, in our first equation, we had the gradient of AB. We had the gradient of AB as 3 over 2. And we know that for us to determine the gradient of the perpendicular bisector, we know that when we multiply the gradient of 2 perpendicular lines, that is m1 times m2, we get -1. So having the gradient of AB, we can be able to get the gradient of the perpendicular bisector, that is given as m2, and that is going to give us 3 over 2 m2 is equal to -1. So having that, we can multiply both sides by the reciprocal, that is by 2 over 3, and that is by 2 over 3, and we are going to get our m2 as -2 over 3. That will be the gradient of our perpendicular bisector. Therefore, having the gradient of our perpendicular bisector and the coordinates of the point of intersection, we can therefore determine the equation of the perpendicular bisector, And how are we going to determine the equation of a perpendicular bisector? We have the coordinate 5, 9, and we have our gradient as -2 over 3, and our arbitrary points are x and y. So having that, we know that finding the equation of the line or the gradient of the line is change in y minus 9, over change in x is equal to -2 over 3. And by reaching there, we can cross multiply. And when we cross multiply, we are going to get 3 into brackets y minus 9 is equal to -2 into bracket x minus 5. So we open our brackets to get 3y minus 27 is equal to -2x plus 10. So by having that, we can now put the right terms together so that we can write our equation in form of y is equal to mx plus c. That is the general equation of a straight line. And now we can have 3y is equal to -2x plus 10 plus 27. That will give us 3y is equal to -2x plus 37. And we can have that as the equation of the perpendicular bisector, and you will earn your 4 marks. So, having solved the first question and the second question, you have already earned 7 marks out of 10. That's 70% of the questions scored correctly. That's a pass. So, reaching there, we have been able to determine the equation of AB, and we have also been able to determine the equation of the perpendicular bisector of AB. Now,